Paul Mason has announced he is standing for selection to be the Labour candidate in Islington North. Yes, you remembered that correctly. It's Jeremy Corbyn's parliamentary seat. To announce the move, Paul Mason sort of tweeted quite a long essay on his Twitter account. I'll read you a sort of the start of it. I will be applying for selection as Labour's candidate in Islington North. The scale of poverty in the borough, together with the acute crisis for private renters and the threats to local health services, means Islington needs to be setting Labour's agenda in power. I worked hard for Jeremy Corbyn while leader, and I hope to build on the decades of tireless work he's done for local people. I backed Keir Starmer and took part in his leadership campaign in 2020 because I knew he could put us where we are today, on the brink of a Labour government that will give Britain its future back. And he says, throughout the selection process, I'll do my best to keep the Labour and trade union movement in Islington united around our common goals, delivering Keir Starmer's 5 missions, enacting Labour's New Deal for working people, and achieving a new comprehensive partnership with Europe to reverse the most damaging effects of Brexit. Now, of course, in case you didn't know who Paul Mason was, he was a BBC journalist at Newsnight, then Channel 4. He's been on Novara Media a number of times, so we don't seem to get on so well anymore since he tried to dob us into MI5. He has tried to be an MP, I think, in 4 seats before, so Sheffield Central, a seat in Greater Manchester, a seat in Wales. He had previously sort of tried to be an MP in cities and Westminster. But now, the lucky people of Islington North, they might get a chance to select Paul Mason to be MP, and then he'll be standing against Jeremy Corbyn, who I think has confirmed he will be standing as an independent. Rivka, what's going on here? What's he thinking?
Oh, man. One can only speculate what is going on inside Paul Mason's head. I actually hope he does get the nomination because I think it will be hilarious. Like, can you imagine a man who's had as many sort of like political convictions as Sarah Jessica Parker in Sex and the City, like taking on a man who's had the same political principles since the 1970s? Like, it would just be insane. I think it's a very sad day. I think we have to remember, as Ash pointed out on Twitter, for the people of Mid and South Pembrokeshire who are very enchanted, I'm sure, by Paul's overtures about how much he loved Pembrokeshire, and he did live in London, but he did spend at least 3 months a year in Mid and South Pembrokeshire, and he looked forward to spending more time there in the future. You know, Paul Mason is the epitome of the Starmer project, someone who is totally willing to throw out any sort of statement in order to gain power and to shapeshift every which way if it means a chance at the throne, and who will embarrass himself to absolutely high heaven in order to get there. And I think that's just good telly, isn't it? That's just going to be like quite amusing for the next few months. So my honest hope for Paul Mason is that he doesn't fall at the first hurdle, but that we are given at least some silver lining over the next few months of general election campaigning in the comedy of errors that will be Paul Mason's North Islington candidacy.
Well, if you're watching Paul Mason, maybe get in touch with Rivka, because it sounds like she might phone bank for you to get this selection, only because she wants to see what happens next.